Are we looking forward to headlining the Sophie stage this evening?
Hopefully, yeah. It should be good. Yeah.
How's the set list looking?
Quite varied. We got stuff from the first album we did. We got stuff from an album we haven't even put out yet. Stuff from all over. So should be fun. We've got a reasonably long set, so we can fit it all in. So,
are you going to be okay to play as well with the leg?
Yeah. Yeah. I've plenty of strong bow in my bag. I'll be fine.
And you just come over from playing Tuska in Finland. How was that?
Yeah, since then we were in the Czech Republic at Brutal Assault on Wednesday. But yeah, not long ago played Tuska. It was amazing, actually. We've never been to Finland before. I've never been to Finland before, which is always one of the most interesting sorts of gigs to play because you don't know what's out there. And we were the first band on, and we weren't on the main stage. But the tent we played in was absolutely rammed, and they went mad. So yeah, I think Terrorizer on their website called it one of the best sets of our career or something like that. So yeah, it went really well, and Finland was beautiful. So it was really cool to be there.
Now, to talk about kind of playing live and touring and things, now Anaal Nathrak originally started out as a studio band, and then you'd always said that you were never going to become like an ordinary touring band. How do you aim when you're kind of planning things? How do you stick to that ethos?
By if someone says, do you want to do this 5-week tour, saying no. Fairly easy way of putting it. Now the thing is, we just don't want to do the predictable, normal thing where it's your job all the time. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I'm not criticising anyone who does want to do it. It's just, to me, that would take something away from playing live. So I mean, we're not completely precious about it. You know, we're not. We'll play one show every 100 years, and if you don't see it, you can bugger off. But we just don't want to overdo it. But we're doing a fair number of shows at the minute, but we're still managing to do interesting ones, like, you know, Tuska the other week. Never been there, and it was amazing. And then in November we've got a small Canadian tour lined up, and that'll be fascinating as well, because a few years ago we were supposed to be doing a few shows in Canada. At least one of the gigs had sold out in advance. Then the visas didn't come through, so we couldn't get on the plane. So, you know, finally getting to Canada and things like that. And regardless of whether or not you want to do it all the time, you want to do things like that. You know, they're fascinating. So
do we have any new material? Last album was out last year. Are you writing at all?
Yeah, it was almost exactly a year ago, I think. And yeah, we've already finished another album. We've actually recorded it some time ago now, but we spent quite a lot of time tweaking little bits, you know, changing the production, all that kind of stuff. But we've handed all that, we've done all the artwork, we've given it all to the label, and I think it comes out the 15th of October, or around then. So yeah, already happened.
Now, I mean, how do you approach writing, and particularly, you know, with the new album and things? Because Anaal Nathrak, there's such a mixture of things going on within the music. Where do you find kind of inspiration? Where do you look to start?
By not thinking about genres and a mixture of things and all that at all. We have me and Mick. I mean, Mick is the starting point for that kind of thing because he writes the music in the first place. But with both of us, we just have an idea of a sound and a feeling. And one thing, I don't want to suck my mate's dick, but Mick's very talented, and you know, it's a pleasure to work with him. One thing he's particularly good at is just getting, not necessarily a sound or a song idea or something like that. He just gets a feeling, an atmosphere, and just makes music that does it without overthinking it, without over-analysing it or anything like that. That works very well for some bands. I saw one of the guys from Nile walking around here earlier, and I don't know if they still do it, but I've heard rumours that a few years ago he wrote it all out, musical notation, all the parts, and orchestrated it and all that. Brilliant, works for them, but for us it comes across more urgently in the finished product if it's more spontaneous, not unthought about at all. You know, it's not throwaway 3-bar punk or anything, but just let it out, sort of thing. You know, and go with the flow, go with the feeling you've got.
Now, as a band who's quite big on the underground scene, is it? And I mean, what's your opinion of the underground extreme scene at the moment? Is there anything that you're listening to in particular?
To be honest, I wasn't really all that up on it for a long time. Nowadays, I've kind of got to know a couple of the young bands in Birmingham and stuff, and they're doing some pretty cool stuff. We got our mates are in a band called Morgorgy. I think they played on the Unsigned stage here last year. They're great. Slightly different approach to the furrow-browed Anaal Nathrak way of doing things, but you know they're good lads and they're doing well. Other than that, I do get the sense there's a lot more out there than there was a few years ago. I'm not necessarily going to give you a list of names, but there's an active, quite extreme in many cases, underground out there. So I think it's healthier than it's been for a while. Whether or not that will burgeon into something that everyone will have heard of, I don't know. But if it's going to come from anywhere, it's going to come from that. So I think it's good. There's fertile soil.
So apart from the new album obviously coming out in October and the extra dates and things that you have touring, what else have you got planned for next year?
Outside of a new album and touring, I'm not entirely sure what bands do. I might go on holiday. I don't. No, we're just carrying on. I mean, we've done the new album. We've got gigs coming up. You know, next weekend we're at a big festival in Germany, the Canada tour, and all that kind of stuff. We're already thinking about the next songs that we're going to do. We're messing around with the idea of doing some covers at the moment. Not necessarily to release a covers album or something, but just for our own benefit to mess about with. We had, I don't know if you'd know, there's a magazine over the pond called Decibel, and they did a flexi disc series of people doing. And we did a cover of the Scar group, the Specials. We did a cover of one of their songs for the Decibel thing, and we liked doing that because it's so unexpected. It's black metal, grindcore, horrible thing covering Scar songs, but it sounded really good. So we'll probably have a mess around with something like that. We'll see.
And are you going to be playing any of the new stuff this evening?
Yeah, we're going to do one song off the as yet unreleased album. So it's a bit of a taster because it's in our heads at the moment, but we don't want to drown the set in songs no one's heard. But yeah, there's one in there.